What is Silver doing? What is Silver got going on?
We get more involved in, and I'm probably in a minority, as we get more involved in global basketball, the NBA is the only league that plays 48 minutes. And I am a fan of 4 10-minute quarters. I'm not sure that many others are. I mean, putting aside what it means for records and things like that, I think that a 2-hour format for a game is more consistent with sort of modern television habits. I don't think people in arenas aren't asking us to shorten the game, but I think as a television program, being 2 hours, that's Olympic basketball is 2 hours. College basketball, of course, is
but
is
if
40
you
minutes.
like it, I'd say it has kind of a little bit of a push there.
Yeah, but it's such a dramatic change.
Someone get me in contact with oh my God, what's the name of the show? Oh, the Dan Patrick Show. Somebody get me in contact with Dan Patrick's audio engineer. My Lord.
But I think as a television, of course, is big basketball.
Kind of a little bit of a.
My Lord. I mean, listen to how good he sounds. So anyways, Adam Silver says that he's interested in the idea of a 10-minute quarter. All right, I'm going to be honest with you. I only saw the quote. I didn't listen to the clip. The clip doesn't sound like there's a real serious push here for this to happen. So it's not as serious as I thought. So this is kind of, this is at times the NBA, like they'll say things and they get the point, but they arrive at the wrong conclusion. So Adam Silver kind of recognizes that, hey, sometimes the game drags on too long and people on TV don't want to spend 2.5 to 3 hours watching a sporting event. Usually MLB got this, right? Which is why they implemented the pitch clock, because there was just way too much dead time, way too much dead space. So the MLB got this. The MLB had this similar problem, and their solution to it wasn't changing anything in the game, making their game 7 innings. It was to cut out dead time. The NBA has too many stoppages, too much, fucking around. Of course, if you want like a 2-hour product, realistically, how long is an NBA game? How long does an NBA game last, truth be told? Uh, 2.5 hours, maybe? Like from the moment the ball is tipped to the end of the game? Less than the other 3 sports for sure. How about starting the game on time? Can we just get there? Like if you have a scheduled start time of 7:30, can we start it at 7:30? Is that such a novel concept? There's reviews and stuff. Like there was a play at the end of the Mavs Pelicans game last night where I don't even remember what happened. Well, what was the play that they were reviewing? They were reviewing an out-of-bounds call or something like that. Very easy. They showed the replay. They were reviewing a Trey Murphy 3. Trey Murphy hit a 3. The refs wanted to review it immediately to see if his foot was on the line. You take a look at the replay. It takes 1 millisecond. 1 millisecond to see that Trey Murphy was clearly behind the three-point line. They spend about 30 seconds to a minute in reviews, checking 5 different angles for no reason. And then something happens with the clock or something, and the ref spends the next minute at the scorer's table yelling at the poor, timekeeper. And it's just like the scoreboard operator. It's like in that moment, the end of the game, what a terrible pace that is. What a terrible pace that is. I don't think this is the answer whatsoever. And there's his idea, and this is wishful thinking for him. Tim with the $2 shorter games equals new players will never break records. There's that. There's another thing I'll get to here in a second. But I think it's wishful thinking to think the NBA will just basically turn away money, that advertisers aren't going to be like, hey, we still want that advertising space. You guys cut the game by 8 minutes. Cool. Figure out a way to cram some fucking ads in there. Figure out a way to cram some ads in there. Maybe I'm just a pessimist, but that's just how I look at it. But of course, yes, records will be different. On top of that, though, think about how that would dramatically change the league. You take out 8 minutes, there's only 10-minute quarters now. Now all of a sudden guys play 35, 36, 37 minutes. They're playing damn near the entire game. That cuts your rotation down to 7. You could realistically play a 7-man rotation and get away with it. 8-man rotations, 9-man rotations. I mean, in a league that's already so deep, in a league where people are already crying for expansion because there's just so much talent and so many guys buried at the end of depth charts and on the end of the bench that aren't getting enough playing time, that becomes a much bigger problem all of a sudden. A much bigger problem. I don't think this is the solution whatsoever. And you know, they recognize that it's a problem. And yes, here's the thing they're not understanding is I think consumers would sit down and watch 3.5 hours of sports if they thought it was amazing. If they thought it was awesome. If it was just great content from start to finish. The reason why FIBA flows better and feels better is because the game itself flows better. It's not because there's 8 less minutes. It's not because the quarters are 2 minutes less. It's because the game itself, when it's happening, flows better. There's less stoppages. Reviews feel quicker. Still problems with the reviews, but reviews feel quicker. Timeouts are the actual 60 seconds that you have allotted to you for timeouts and not 3 minutes. It's great. Get the game times right. NBA doesn't focus on the rest of the world. We need way more early games than you getting more viewers. It's just for USA Finals or at 2 at night for us. Yeah, the final stuff doesn't make sense. I hate how late NBA Finals games are. I hate it. It makes no sense to me. So I would say, look at how you mentioned FIBA in here. Yeah, FIBA fucking rules. FIBA rules. We've been saying that on this channel way before. That's one of the best things. And we watched international basketball before. But that's one of the best things of Luka coming here. And then you start to watch Eurobasket and shit. Really dive into it. And you're like, man, these games are incredible. The physicality, the intensity that they play with, the flow of the game is so good and so entertaining that it would be awesome if the NBA just sort of replicated some of it. So anyways, I agree with that. Now, I saw some people making a decent point that part of the problem with the NBA currently is that they spend so much time and effort talking about how to fix the product instead of just saying, hey, the product's really good right now. You guys should watch. Now, in defense of Silver, I think he was asked a question here, so he's just going to answer it. But I don't think cutting the quarters by 2 minutes is a solution whatsoever that makes any sense. And thankfully, that's not what he's saying. He just kind of threw it out there. It wasn't him saying, this is what we're looking at. We're pushing this through. We're talking about it. It was more so, hey. I've thought about it a little bit. The end of the games are taking too long, not the whole game. Yeah, I think the end of the game thing needs to be fixed. I do. I just think the flow. I mean, I just don't get how reviews take so long. That's really my big gripe. I don't understand it in any sport. It's how does this take so fucking long, man? I'm in the minority, but I prefer 40 minutes. I mean, I could get the argument for it. I just think if you think the problem is, hey, let's cut the time of the game down, how long it takes from tip off till the end to finish and the flow of the game, I think you're looking in the wrong place. I think you're looking in the wrong place to fix that. But then beyond that, that causes a lot of problems for you. It makes sense in an international setting where, 10-minute quarters, yeah, there's not, obviously Team USA could field a monster team, but most of these other countries have 6 or 7 guys realistically that they rely on, maybe 8, and some countries even less than that. So really short rotations make sense for them. In the NBA, it's just you already have a problem with so many great players and good players that probably could get real rotational minutes in the league that are buried on the end of a bench because there's just not space for them. I think they should make games 3 days long. How can you say that when the Wizards exist? But then, like, remember Pritchard? Pritchard's playing now, probably going to win Sixth Man of the Year. Remember, he was like the poster child of this for the last 2 years. Of the league needs expansion so a guy like Peyton Pritchard could play more. I don't think it's a problem. It's a fan problem. The NFL has too much dead air. It's crazy. The thing about the NFL is, like, there's so little action time that it's just the perfect put it on, and you don't have to, like, really pay that much attention. You could just sort of, oh, a play's about to happen. Okay, play happens. There's 30 seconds now between now and the next play. I'm going to fuck off on my phone or, go, put this in the trash, dust this, whatever. Do you think there are EU teams that could beat the Wizards? I mean, probably not, no. They're still an NBA team at the end of the day. Barely. I mean, hey, any given night in the league, don't get me wrong, but in a 7-game series, would I pick a team from Europe to beat the Wizards? Probably not.